Ooh.
I want to butt fuck you.
Oh,
Yes.
there you go.
There it is. I want to butt fuck you. Did you get naked, Steve?
How are the levels on that?
Did you get naked? Did you get naked? You look at the whole cycle.
Jeez. You know, that's the thing.
It's not too loud on my
Some
part, but it's probably good enough. It doesn't need to be any louder than that.
Yeah. But you do. You need to speak up.
Turn me up there, son.
You are turned up. You're just relaxing. The more I turn you up, the more you just lay back.
I know.
Stop talking into the mic.
That's what I'm trying to do.
I need you to relax. I need you to be engaged, all right? Are you pumped?
Aggressive position.
Are you pumped?
Are you ready?
Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this?
I want this. Give it to me. Right now.
See Flash Gordon?
No.
Oh,
the most Flash Gordon I saw, it was in Ted.
Gosh. Ted? But you're not aware of, like, the Queen did, like, all this music for it, and it was a complete piece of shit movie.
Oh, I thought it was like a show.
Well, yeah, but there was a movie.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure when. I should look that up. But Queen did all the music for it.
Fuck
and
yeah.
they did this, like, dope... I don't know.
I'm a fan of the graphics, personally. The image mapping is just spot on. And Flash Gordon, you know, he's a Hulk.
The Defender and stuff. So yeah, it came out in 1980 here. It was fucking awful. But it did have I might be mistaking this, but wasn't Flash Gordon a real football player or something? And then the whole comic was, like, drawn up around him. This was, like, back in the old days where, you know, you'd walk into some kind of, like, I don't know. I imagine it'd be kind of like a Mad Men kind of thing, like when the highlight guy shows up and, like, wants, like, there to be a show. You know, he's, like, he just wants everything about it, and he's, like, willing to spend all the money. Like, Flash Gordon walked into some ad agency and was just like, I want my brand to be bigger. And they're like... yeah, we'll put a show and we'll make it a cartoon and shit.
But he just stands out. It's like the inner child of one of, like, the executives, and he's like, yes, we'll give you everything you want.
No, I mean, I think that he paid dearly for it, and I don't think he got a huge return on his investment, I'm guessing. Unless, I don't know, maybe he owns the franchise or whatever, but I'm pretty sure this handsome gentleman that you...
I can't see it.
It was supposed to be up on the... It's supposed to be up on the big screen.
Look at those muscles.
Anyway.
That's good Aryan race hair right there.
Fuck yeah, dude. He's very Aryan.
That's what Hitler fought for.
Varian, yeah. Yeah, so you can see it.
Were you trying to say he's Varian?
Very Aryan. Varian. Venerian. Oh, shit.
That's all he wore, just the fucking t-shirt that had an... Okay,
yeah,
there's the red shirt.
Yeah, so then there's this guy here who's... It just says Flash on his shirt, and that's a scene from the movie, so he is Flash Gordon in the movie, and he has a shirt that says Flash. I don't know, it was awful. And,
it had your workout shirt.
It had the... Oh, fuck yeah, that'd be so cool. And it had the bad guy from The Rocketeer in it as some guy, and there was a thing where I don't know, you put your hand in the thing and it stings you or something. Or maybe I'm mixing this up with another movie. Anyway.
This is before my time, Steve.
Yeah, it's before my time too. But
I like the...
So that intro sucks.
No, you're trying to sell me on Flash Gordon, and... I didn't buy him for a reason.
I think
you're showing great potential.
I think the thing is what I liked about the intro was that it was a parody on on a badass Queen song from a horrible movie, and without that thread of it, it just wasn't any good.
Well, we'll dedicate this podcast to Flash Gordon. and saving the universe from evil and doom.
Awesome. Anyway, so it's been a while.
I know. We've had a little hiatus.
Hiatus?
Because Steve had to go snowboarding.
It's important to me and my culture.
The white culture?
Yeah, the privileged white kid.
Oh, okay.
You know, because
you're European, you know, or some kind of.
Well, because everybody thinks it's easy being middle class and white, and you know, there's a lot of work that goes into it. You know, I had to drive an awful long way to, you know, go play in the snow, and it costs money and, you know, logistics.
First world problems, Steve. You know, someone's got to handle them, and I'm glad that you got those on lock.
Yeah. You know.
How was Wolf Creek?
It was
like an epic 17 inches of powder.
It was fantastic. It was some of the best conditions, certainly in a long time.
Fuck yeah.
And I mean the lack of other people, that's always good. You know, that's part of why you got to keep it expensive and far away. You want to keep other people away, for sure.
Feel like them Texans.
Right. Whenever they show up, it just kind of.
Let's wait on good Angel Fire.
Yeah. Well, that and Angel Fire's flat and ugly, and the people are ugly. I hate every one of them, and they charge way too much for what is
it's a resort. It's next
mountain.
to Taos, you know.
You know,
and they get fucking Texan skiers.
Angel Fire is a resort in the way that like Dubai is a resort. It's being forced. You know, like it's not that good of a mountain. It's not a very good location, but for some reason, people have like put money into it, and have just been like, yeah, like if we build these shit ass condos here, it's like right on the mountain. It's like all those cool places that, you know, it's like Aspen and Vail and you know, Whistler and all these places where they've got these majestic mountains and these old towns that have been that way forever, and you can just ski right up to your lodge, blah blah blah. And then they just tried to do that, but without any of like the majesty or the beauty or the particularly cool mountain.
The cool girl that greets you when you go off the ski lift with warm cookies.
Right, you know,
as they do in Snowmass. Aspen.
You know, that's a price issue, I think. You know, I think if you want, but again, you know, it's just, you know, it's like Dubai trying to be Paris or London, you know, it's just...
Dubai's pretty successful.
Is it?
Yeah.
How?
Well, first of all, they have the world's tallest building.
Yeah.
They're successful because they have so much money that's going into there. And they're, like, self-sustained off the money that's there. Well, like, how much can they really make? And
do they even
need to make money?
No, they don't. But that's the thing, though, is they're trying to, like, become something that they're not. You know, they're dumping money onto an idea that worked other places naturally, and they're trying to make it happen there, and it's just kind of like, it's not going to work. Like, because the same reason nobody wants to go to Angel Fire, who it's not like their last resort or their first area, you know, like people that are close by will go to Angel Fire because there's shit else around. People that live in Dubai will stay in Dubai because there's shit else around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the thing is they're trying to attract outsiders who have better options. You know, like if you were setting up the third branch of your now international design and engineering firm, how strong what would Dubai have to do for you to make it to make you want to move your headquarters there? And by moving your headquarters there, it's not just
the headquarters, not just like another office.
It's another office, but you have to work there for minimum 2 years.
Fine.
And yeah, so you're gonna have to live in a country where it's hot. There's a lot of sand. They have a repressive culture towards Western ideas. It's also, but then again, it's also like a very deeply, like it's a culture where they're like, no, you can't do that. But then like behind the scenes, everybody's doing it. But then every now and then somebody gets like arrested for life.
Yeah.
Or beaten to death, or you know, whatever. So like, I don't know.
I'm pretty slutty, Steve. I'll take it. You know. I will take it. If they're giving me,
but okay, here's the other thing.
They're like, hey, we're giving you office on like the 80th floor of this building here. You'll overlook all of fucking Dubai.
So you're saying,
and you get like your residence or whatever, your loft or your suite, 10, 20 floors above that. There's malls. There's anything that you want within this giant building. Fuck yeah.
Okay, so imagine this, though. It's not you now. It's you when you already have multiple offices. This firm is already huge. You're basically, making stupid amounts of money. You have money and things. You could buy those things if you wanted to. Sure. You just don't want to. Really? Okay, so the thing is, you could buy those things if you wanted to. And you could buy them anywhere in the world. So really, would you prefer to be looking out over Dubai or...
Well, the time constraint is the ultimate constraint. If they force you to be there for 2 years and you have like an international firm already, then there's no way that they're going to be able to fucking do that. And for someone to just stay located and just for the sake of staying located, I'll have a kiosk.
Okay.
Okay. Well, have a lemonade stand with like engineering advice right there, and just to make a statement. Right. You do it for like $5 or 5 cents. Like
I guess the argument that I'm making is
that you don't want to go to Dubai.
There's nothing. Dubai has nothing to offer that doesn't exist somewhere else in a better form, and that's what the problem with Angel Fire is there's nothing in Angel Fire that it doesn't exist somewhere else in a better form and not even that far away.
That's true. But I like Angel Fire. I killed your argument. I've had some great times. I've had some great times in Angel Fire. Yeah, you do like the same like 4 or 5 runs all day long.
Yep.
But you also try to adventure around a little bit, and the fact they have a terrain park is always a little novelty.
Sure.
It's not going to be the mountain that I go to exclusively. I know they do like these little punch cards for $150. You get like 7 or 8 lift tickets, which is pretty awesome. And I think my dad's done them before, and he likes Angel Fire.
I mean, that's a pretty good deal. $150 for 5, 6 times.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many. I think it's something like that. So, they try to get people to come, and fucking A, man. They're still in business, so they're doing something right. And I totally agree with you. Yeah, I totally agree with your argument that, they're kind of passing a subpar resort. But it's still a resort nonetheless. And, you have outsiders that come in and they start talking to the locals. They're like, well, I was thinking about going and skiing Taos. They're like, well, are you really good? No, I'm from Texas. We go over once a year. They're like, well, it's super fucking steep. They're like, oh, is there anywhere else close by? Angel Fire. That sounds perfect, And that's why Angel Fire is always flooded with Texans. Yeah. They're fucking wearing their cowboy hats and their onesies down the mountain screaming, hee-yaw, and falling in front of you.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think maybe because of, I don't know, maybe I think it's completely shitty because it's just not my culture. Maybe their culture that place is perfectly representative of that. So maybe, again, going back to the Dubai thing, maybe if you were like a Saudi, Saudi mark, you'd be all about having your business in Dubai or something.
Well, my cousins are Kuwaiti, and they go to Dubai every other fucking weekend, So
yeah, because I bet for Kuwait, like that's pretty badass. That's a badass. Yeah, it's Vegas of desert.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. There's nothing really. I mean, you could say that about Vegas too. There's nothing there
that's exactly Vegas.
Is genuine. Yeah, it in fact is a blatant copy of things other places.
Dubai actually tries to cover it up with spending more money.
Right. Well, yeah, and just being. I mean, it's just part of the culture to to be flashy, but not really not really. There's no like restraint. There's no good form. It's all basically just kind of.
Yep. Just throw money at it. Oh, look at this.
Look at how purple this carpet is.
In my Bugatti. Bugatti?
Bugatti, yeah. No, that's Bugatti.
Yeah.
Anyway, Valentine's Day happened.
It did.
What'd you do?
I went to a concert and had a really good time. How about yourself?
Oh, I had a really romantic evening in.
Yeah?
Yeah. Usually when I jack off, it's not about someone else. I made it about me this time. It was
awesome.
It was about loving myself.
So funny.
Yeah, it was about loving. I romanced myself.
That's perfect.
I didn't.
You didn't abuse yourself.
Didn't go too fast. Took it slow. Made sure that the mood was right. And I wanted to make everything about it kind of romantic. So I looked for porn where the actresses in it looked like women that I've been in love with.
I was thinking that you were looking for actresses that look like you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that would be a... Oh,
yeah.
Shit. Or are you like, spoiled the opportunity? I don't know what girl me... If I would be attracted to girl me. I don't think so. But, I mean, I feel like maybe there would be some sort of, like...
Well, you you put some feminine features on your image on top.
No, I mean, I'm not in that. I guess I'm imagining it more as like not like me with a wig. It'd be more of like the female version of myself. You know it. You know what I mean? Like it's. I don't know.
My imagination is stirring.
Gross.
Let's see. You wouldn't be a dress kind of girl.
You don't think so?
No.
I think I'd get down on a dress.
Okay, yeah, I could see it, but it wouldn't be like your main. Most.
Oh, certainly not daily.
Maybe yoga pants?
No. Because yoga pants to me is it's not trying. That would be because like I know I don't wear like exercising shorts.
Sure. Or
like running shorts or sweatpants or anything like that.
Either. Fuck that.
Except for when I'm actually doing that thing, and I will take the, I would not.
So you don't have basketball shorts? Just.
I've got them, but you wear them around the house. You're going somewhere, even if it's just.
But even then,
even
throwing shit in baskets.
Kobe. Yeah, I mean. I don't wear exercise gear outside of the house, except to exercise, like if I went on even if I go on like a long bike ride and I think I'm gonna like stop, like Nexus Brewery has that little fence thing, so like after 20-mile ride I can stop there before I finish it off at home and get home. So if I'm gonna do that, then like there's a different kind of shorts I'll wear, and instead of wearing like a tank top, I'll wear like a regular t-shirt, just because I don't
present yourself for the occasion.
Yeah, like I think there's nothing that says more about how somebody, like, I don't know, like I should say this, like it kind of goes back to like giving a fuck. Like I think a lot of times I do stuff that's different, not because I don't give a fuck, it's because I do give a fuck. I just like to push people's buttons, you know what I mean? Like I like to get a rise out of people, and I like to engage people, and I like to be difficult, that sort of thing. But the last thing I ever want to be known as is like that sloppy, like messy, don't give a shit guy.
Yeah. No, fuck that.
And I think that when I see those people, I'm usually just like, really? And I assume that's how they look all the time.
So I'm curious, what did you wear on Valentine's Day when you're trying to make yourself feel special?
I got this leather apron.
Yeah.
It's black. It's kind of, it's leather, but it's like real shiny. Like I put a ton of polish on it, so it's like I could go get it later. But essentially, it's like, it looks like PVC, but it's actual leather.
Okay.
It's really soft, and I think it was made for welding, but then
Oh, see, I was picturing kind of like a leather loincloth.
No. It's like a shop apron kind of thing, but it's just low enough that you can see the tops of my nipples. Like the areola, the man areola part on top.
Yeah.
And then it comes down, and it goes down actually pretty far, but when the sides are tied up, like it. I don't know. It just looks good, and it's got like a big pocket in the front where I can put all kinds of different tools and objects and whatever. So
bottles of wine.
Yeah. I mean, I usually put like I've got like bondage tape like a small flogging device. There's this butt plug with a foxtail on the end of it, and then also one with a wolf tail. So
you know, a little extra.
No, they're not for me, but they're for guests. And you know, because sometimes, you know, scenarios you just need props.
Yeah.
And yeah. So
that's a nice.
So I was wearing
nice
that
fucking apron, dude. Nothing else, I hope.
No,
just the apron.
Well, I mean, I had to go get the mail, so step out of the house. So I did put some boxer briefs on for a moment.
Yeah.
Black, of course. Yeah, because
it matches your skin tone.
Right. No. So yeah, no, my Valentine's Day was stupid. I just hung out with my son.
That's cool, man. I worked all day.
Oh well, I did that too.
Got my swole on.
Oh yeah.
And then I went to fucking Laid Back Luke.
Laid Back Luke.
Laid Back Luke, who's this guy.
Electronic.
Some EDM over at the stage out in fucking Bernalillo.
Oh.
It was pretty awesome.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, because the thing, I like the idea of other venues, and a lot of those venues are much nicer than anything. Excuse me, that downtown has to offer and all that, but it's way the fuck out there. So what if you want to have some drinks? Or I mean, the whole when I go see an EDM
drinking.
Yeah, like when I go see like EDM shit, like I want to be kind of faded. That's kind of the point of going and partying at, you know, like there are other concerts and things that I would go to that I'd rather be sober mostly. You know, it's like a band I really like or something like that, but it's a different kind of music. EDM, even if it's like the best EDM guy out there, whatever they are, I don't
DJ?
Yeah, there it is. Because I wanted to call them artists, but I don't know. I kind of have a
They're
problem
fucking artists, bro.
Some of them are. Most of them aren't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, Laid Back Luke was the mashup artist, but it was still fun.
Yeah. See, the mashup artist, I think that like area where they're
he's a DJ.
Where they're artists,
their art beginnings and quinceañeras.
Oh, fuck yeah.
He played the stage, and so he was great, man. It was a lot of fun. I was supposed to meet up with this girl. I gotta stop meeting women over the internet, dude. Like,
seriously.
Like, it's just shit.
Well, it's just, you know, it's such
you don't want to meet those women.
Well, you know? It's just such like a fucking flake fest. I don't know.
It's not the flake fest. They're just, you know, they're not just on the trail.
Well, they're insane, too.
They're insane, and women that you want to stay away from, you know? Like,
I mean, I
would not approach that kind of woman in the daytime, but just because someone sent you a message and you're bored or whatever,
sure.
You just kind of roll with it and it gets
well, you know, it's like the free food, or it's like the buffet kind of thing where it's just like, you know, you're never hungry enough to really get your money's worth out of a buffet, and you're always going to leave unhappy because
and full of regrets.
Yeah, because you just went in there and you're like, fuck it, and you know, whatever. I'm just gonna eat my fill. Sure, this isn't the best thing I've ever. This isn't the best Chinese food I've ever seen, but fuck it, you know. And so you're like, but I've had worse, you know. I've worked a lot harder for a lot less, you know. So then you just go for it.
Yeah.
And then you're just chowing down.
Halfway through, you're like, God damn it, I don't really want to finish this, but I'm already here, and I filled up my plate twice already, and I don't want to just leave a giant pile of food on the floor. It's just like disrespectful, and there's like third world countries.
Sure, and I mean, and you already put in the work to get there, or you already paid your due. So you're just like, I'm not going to leave here paying, you know, like I went a long way for this shit, or I drove across town, or whatever you did.
It wasn't the sole reason I went to the concert was to see that girl.
Right. But
yeah, it was part of a little bit more enticing, and I got the ticket for half price. So, yeah, why not?
Sure.
I ended up mentioning something about it. She's like, oh my God, I'm going too. I'm like, cool, let's dance together. And I remember walking in, I see a girl, and I'm like, God, I hope that's not her.
And it was? She's looking at you expectantly, like, oh.
No, like
I didn't really recognize her. Without being horrible or anything, like, was it that she was fatter or uglier?
Just wasn't. She was wearing these leather pants and like a half midriff shirt or whatever.
Uh-huh.
She just like creepily skinny and like way too much makeup, and I just see her as like those girls that are just like begging for attention, you know?
Yep.
And
the me's of the girl world.
Whatever. But threw me off there. But fucking, I kind of stopped putting effort. She's like, "Hey, where you at?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm over here. I'm by the stairs. Come over." And then she kept on saying, "Oh, I'm over here." I'm like, "Cool, I'm still over here." And this is while the show's going on, and I'm still trying to enjoy myself.
Was she saying this to you or texting you?
She was texting me because we still haven't ran into each other yet.
Right.
And then it ended up being like around 1 a.m. The show was still going on, and she's like, "Are you gay?" And she said, "Are you a G?" And I'm like, "Am I a G? Like, am I gay or what?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm G like gangster, you know." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you trying to say, woman?" And I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna be standing over and getting a drink over at the bar. If you want to come over here, come over here." Then I saw that girl with the leather pants, because she described what she was wearing when we were trying to find each other. And I'm like, all right, I think she saw me, whatever. Just go up and say hi to her. I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" And it just was like total disappointment, no eagerness at all on my behalf. So I just kind of like, cool, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And I just went to the bathroom, and she was gone by the time I came back. So I'm like, perfect. And I just kept on going on about my way and dancing and having a good time.
Yeah. So it just sounds like you weren't really committed to anything anyway. If she had been more your type, would you have been more into it? Or would you just kind of like, because it almost sounds like you're just like unwilling to go for anything. You're just kind of like, meh, I'm here to dance, alright?
Well, that's how I felt, you know, and I think it's a lesson in how important first impressions are, especially when it comes in, you know, when interacting with the opposite sex. So yeah, Do you think you made a good first impression though? I don't think so, because like I said, there wasn't any eagerness there. I was just kind of like, "Hey, what's that?" You know. Yeah. So, but I mean, maybe it could have been cool. Maybe like if you'd have given it a chance, who knows? Well, that leads me to the next part. All right, go ahead. There's no other aphrodisiac like the day after Valentine's Day for women that aren't in relationships. Right. Go on. I don't know how much more I want to say. But it ended up being a little Casanova of a night, and it was wonderful. Kind of hope I hear back from her. You met another person? I met another person. Online? No, fuck that. In real life. Yeah, in real life this time, and it was very serendipitous and actually pretty awesome, you know? I've been, like, a strong advocate of, like, you know, I don't really like this whole, like, one-night stands shit and, like, just kind of meeting people and, like, hooking up and then moving forward, you know? I guess I've kind of grown up a little bit and, you know, just having... Well, the grass is always greener. Yeah, definitely. And meaningless sex is meaningless, and it kind of gets boring, you know, and... You're ready to love is what you're saying. I suppose. So when it happened with this girl, like everything that, you know, as soon as we met till the next day, like everything was just building up, and it's just interesting to feel chemistry again with someone. Aww. So try not to fuck it up. Try not to come off as being crazy or eager or needy. So yeah, just try to come from a good place, and I think that's why I needed my podcast. You know? Just be cool. That's what I do. Yeah, style, but not too cool, because personality. Because sometimes I gotta say when you bad. Because when you play it cool, you just go straight dickhead. I know. You're just like yeah, whatever. That's cool. Yeah. And they're just like fuck you. Yeah. So. The whole playing it cool is also aloof, and I try to stay away from that. But being who I am and being my true self, I think, is the best way to be, because I'm a very happy and logical person, and that's what I pride myself in being. And you know, I think you just need to be kind of direct and just, you know, because I think people are too worried about seeming too clingy, because there's a difference between saying what you mean and being like creepy and clingy, like, because obviously, you know, you don't want to like hook up with somebody and then they're just like, hey, I think we should spend all kinds of time together or whatever. Exactly. But if you would, instead of being like, oh, too fast, too much, you know, what you should probably do is just be like,
hey, I had a really great time. Just be very clear about,
Your intentions?
just say exactly how you feel, but then just put the ball in their court. Don't put any pressure on them, but just say, like, I had a really good time with you, and I feel like I actually had a real connection with you. I hope to see you again.
Yeah. And putting the ball in their court.
Just say, Steve, I hope you'll call me. We can get dinner.
Steve, I've
just keep it casual.
I've failed a lot.
Uh-huh.
I've failed a lot, and for the most, a lot of the time I don't really care because it's with women that I'm not really all that eager about. But I'm like, hey, you're kind of cool, and then it hasn't really worked out, so I'm like, whatever. And I've been able to kind of map out those conversations and the things that and how I was directing myself, and I think I'm ready to make the right adjustments to really try to attract someone that I think could be very interesting.
Yeah. Well, and you have to definitely learn from mistakes and whatnot and move on. But I don't know. I just think that a lot of times people are a little too guarded. Well, just too guarded with, this is going to sound fucking stupid, and I don't really watch the show, but that, Downton Abbey show, a lot of people are into it. I've always seen a little bit, and it drove me fucking nuts because they're like these high society, whatever the fuck it is, and all their problems could be solved if they were just a little more direct. Yeah, but it's this old British
dude, that's back from Shakespeare.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Oh fuck yeah. So I think just saying, being tactful about how you say it and when you say it and everything like that is, of course, very important. And not that I have a whole lot of experience with this because I tend to just annoy the shit out of people, or purposely to get the reactions because that's what I thrive on.
Yeah, it's fun.
But if I was a well-adjusted person, just saying, hey, I like you. That's really cool. I think we should do something. And obviously think about it more than that.
Just most definitely.
We should do something.
Right? No, I totally agree with you. And letting your intentions be known, but not coming off as being this really clingy. And I'm not in a place to be so needy and consumed by someone, So,
right.
So that's the last thing that I want is to be overwhelmed by some personality, and I would not want to do that to someone else.
Yeah, and there's a good chance too that the other person in this situation could also be like, well, he's too cool, so I'm gonna play it cool as well, and then you basically
and then it just goes nowhere.
Yeah, and you're both just kind of too cool for each other, waiting for that other person to call or whatever, or and it just doesn't work out. So
no, you have to make your move. But another thing that I've been realizing about myself is, I think we talked about this before in previous podcasts. Where we talked about
dicks?
Yes. How'd you know?
Well, we talked about it before.
Oh, and when I get erections, my legs go up.
Yeah. I think that happens to everybody, though.
Oh, okay. Well, I was considering the idea is that you learn how to love from your mother, because that's the first place that you experience love. When you're a baby and she's holding you, you get to feel her body warmth, her heartbeat, and then it builds from that onto your interactions. So maybe this is just my crutch now, but I learned how to love in Spanish. And being able to verbalize myself.
Yo quiero love.
And my abilities to verbalize my romantic mannerisms are a lot more successful in Spanish than they are in English.
Then maybe talk to that bitch in Spanish.
I did.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Does she
spent
Spanish?
A year in Spain. And
oh, okay. So she doesn't speak Spanish. Okay. You know what? I'm fucking over it. Okay. So, and I won't name names, but there's so many fucking people who go abroad for a week or more, and then they're like, no, I speak, I spent this time, and oh my god, it's fucking obnoxious because it's no, you're fucking not fluent in Italian. You spent, look, you can go and you pick up a couple of yes, no, thank you, and you can order at the fucking restaurant.
Scusi.
Yeah, scusi. grazie,
Spaghetti.
prego. Like all that shit. You pick up the stupid little things but there's all those people that they just like, they fucking can't admit to themselves that they don't know. Or they're like, I took an introductory, I majored in Spanish.
Took Spanish 101.
Yeah, I was in honors, Spanish in high school and this and that. And they're like, they're not fluent in Spanish. Like, nobody says I'm fluent in Spanish. They just speak Spanish when it's appropriate, and it's just, anyway.
Well, now that you mention it, it's been really interesting because there's this girl that is an exchange student from Spain. Yeah. So she
speaks Spanish.
She speaks Spanish.
I believe her.
Beautifully, dude. I used to have a strong bias against, like, Spaniard Spanish because they always stepping on their tongues,
Are they?
And, yeah, it's kind of annoying.
I can't hear it.
When you're speaking Spanish.
But
the way that she speaks Spanish is just lovely, just flows,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're saying, but a lot of it's also just like when pretty people say things, you're just like, oh, that's awesome.
That's true.
But yeah, like Spanish women, whenever they spoke, I always liked their accents better too. Their English accent or their accent in English was always like adorable, but I can't really tell if that's something that has just been implanted in my mind. Like French accent, like women with French accents are beautiful because movies have told me that, and same with Spanish.
Yes. But it's also romantic language,
right?
And it's called romantic language for a reason, because it flows so easily. This is my bullshit, at least why I think it's a romantic language. And
isn't English a romance language as well?
No, it's derived from from German. Right? It's like
probably
Anglo.
I don't know. I just remember one time seeing the language family tree and just thinking like, wow.
Well,
there's a lot more romance languages than I thought.
Originated from Latin.
Sure.
So then there's Latin, and then the
Latin is definitely the most romantic of languages.
And then
so romantic, it's dead.
Oh. It's an ancient language. But from Latin you have...
I killed it.
French, Spanish, and Italian. And that's really fucked up that you would kill Latin. And Greek? Is there a Grecian language?
That would be Hellenic. I think that would have probably, I don't know. I mean, because...
It's interesting. And then there's Portuguese, too.
Greece kind of came from... I'm trying to think. I don't know. I think Latin and Greek are probably... they probably come from a similar root, but they go back so far
that no one really
well, yeah.
Sure, someone does.
They kind of started it all.
Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that, all right, there's this girl from Spain. She speaks Spanish beautifully, And then there's me, who speaks Spanish just kind of like choppy because I don't have very much practice with it. Front slip.
Yo quiero my balls.
That's how you say it.
Yeah.
So she's on the tier. She's on the top level. Look, she's a top-ranking Spanish speaker. I am like a middle ranking Spanish speaker, and then the girl is a low to mid-range Spanish speaker. So
this girl,
who spent the most recent one,
who spent time in Spain.
Yes.
To become a fluent Spanish art dealer.
Yes. About Frida Kahlo.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Eyebrow connoisseur.
Exactly. But once we started talking in Spanish, it just came over. It was a beautiful thing.
Well, and I think there's something to be said for like
when you're all
meetings,
fucking drunk and
exactly. It's fucking cute. It's fucking cute. And that's so. Yeah, well, I don't know if you want to say that, but
I did.
Oh, did you?
Fuck yeah,
shit, man. See that's kind of this is a little bit about kind of going back to what I was saying. Not exactly, but I was saying, being out there. You exposed an interest, a commonality that you both had, and you weren't too shy to be like, well, I'm kind of a shitty Spanish speaker, but so are you, but we can be shitty at it, and it's, well, not even like we can be shitty at it together. I mean, it comes off as that, but it's just like, I don't have to care, so you don't have to care. So we can be open and just do what we do.
And the sounds and how you say things sounds even better.
Yeah, just I guess it's just kind of letting the pressure off, like taking off that extra baggage of like caring what somebody thinks.
And it also brings her into your little world, you know, and you create this little bubble between you where, you know, yeah, you're in this bar or whatever with a whole bunch of other people. They're all, you know, talking and laughing and doing their thing, but you and her are engaged and you're in conversation in your own little language and you guys are just getting each other, you know. So it just creates that bond.
Yeah, get it. Get each other. Get each other real good. Holy shit. How did that happen? God damn it. This app is not...
You're a little too rough with it, man.
I just pushed
it. You swiped it hard.
No, this app is just not what I was hoping it would be.
That iPad's just a little too much technology for you.
No, the iPad's great. It's just this app for it.
Oh, I thought it was your caveman finger.
Nope. I pushed one button.
Sound button.
No, because the thing is those two buttons are spread by about like 4 inches of space.
Okay.
There's no way I touched them both. They just both happened.
There's an error in the Matrix, folks.
I saw, to wrap this up, I guess, I saw an article today about, you know, it always gets brought up and it always kind of bugs me, is like, people are like, it's actually more likely than ever that we're living in a simulation. You know, it's just like, and it's these stupid, like, plot hole, you know, the whole idea is just that we could be living in a simulation and it's actually probable that we're living it, you know, and the headline was something like, odds, you know, like alluding to the fact or the idea that there would be like a percentage given of like percent chance we're living in a thing. So I was like, all right, I got to read this, because if we're like 27% in a chance, like that's just some stupid thing I'm going to throw out and make fun of. Well, I'm making fun of it anyway, but the whole point was this guy was saying that because we might someday be able to program complex simulations, that there's a good chance that the world we live in is just a simulation from other things, because once you can do one simulation, you can do many simulations, in theory. Mm-hmm. So you could just you could just have so many simulations that the number of simulations that would be possible would become, essentially innumerable, and therefore, because that's the way that we could possibly do it in the future, because of that, we're likely living in a simulation.
See, I think that's a really stoned idea.
I think it's fucking stoned to think like that and be like, whoa. But I think it's absolutely fucking ridiculous to actually type that shit up and try to be serious and scientific and say, yeah, no, it probably, you're no better than any, like,
aliens.
Aliens, it's like, okay, there's fucking space out there, so yeah, there's a chance that's it. But all of it is completely based on speculation, which has absolutely no proof. It's just like, it's like religion, like, why don't you just go speculate more about what Jesus thought? All right, you dick, because, you're not doing anything, you're not contributing anything but an idea, and to say that there's some sort of basis for it is just, in science, is just,
So, to push your buttons, I'm going to say that there are programming laws that govern reality as we see it.
Right. I mean, and that was part of it, is like, well, if all we're really doing is, when we find out math, is we're just discovering the programming.
Yeah.
And it's like, or that's just the natural order of matter in our particular part of the universe, because, we know for a fact it's different other places.
Yes,
and over distance. Would that just mean that your program changes by location? And if that was the case, then that doesn't really sound like a computer program. That sounds like something infinitely more complex than a simulation, because if the parameters of your simulation are location specific, then that means that there's a physical space. And computers don't have physical space unless you subscribe to the Tron theory. But since that was a movie twice, that's actually exceedingly possible, more realistic.
On it, dude.
Yeah, and I mean that just lends further proof that people can be robots, and really, I guess I just talked myself into a circle now.
And now you believe in simulation theory.
Oh my God, my dick is digital.
Boom, boom, boom.
Jack it in. I'm gonna fuck a wall socket and become part of the universe. I don't know.
I recommend hooking up like a cow heart to it first, so that and then like the cow heart is experiencing the...
Cow heart's not real, it's just programmed in.
Well, I'd like to wait. I can't wait for the time when we are able to program cells, and I'm sure we're starting to get there.
Cells?
Yeah.
Yeah, genetically they can program them. It's just that's the whole point of like the stem cell thing was that they were programmable cells.
Yeah, they're just blank copies. Yeah, dude. I don't know. I know simulation theory is kind of bullshit, and it requires you to define what you mean by simulation. Like, it's not just a typical set up parameters, set up geometries or analysis or whatever, and then run. And if it is a simulation, then it's one of the most complex.
Well, that's why it's such a bullshit theory in my mind, is because essentially there's no definition in it other than, wouldn't that be crazy if everything was computer?
Yeah.
Everything is computer today. Wouldn't that be crazy? And it's just
think about it. How much time you spend on Facebook?
Yeah, and then because for everything that somebody would be like, well, there's this complexity into it or whatever, that they're like, well, it's a really complex program.
Yeah,
that's just part of the program. That's all. And that's why it's like a religion thing. Exactly, and that's exactly why it's like. It bothers me so much because it's just like the religious argument. It's like, well, just because God said so.
Yeah.
Well, it's because program. God can do anything.
That's in my program.
Yeah. Well, then why do people suffer? It's in the program.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't the program be better and run smoother if there was no suffering? Well, maybe, but it was another programmer that came in and hacked our program. Well, no, it's just that's not part of the parameters. It's just that's not how it was programmed.
So who wrote the programs?
Oh my God. I'm air stroking it just so everybody. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so that got me all heated because they're trying to
Was this in the Journal, or was this in...
they're trying to reinvent
USA Today.
It was in the Huffington Post, but it was from somewhere else. You know how they link shit from everywhere from, like, completely not credible to, like, the New York Times. It's like New York Times thing, you read it and you're like, wow, and then you read another headline and you're like, this is totally fucked. And you're like, oh, wait, because it's from, like, clowndick.uk.co, world... paper.
Dude, that's my favorite source for news and the haps.
Yeah. Well, my favorite source is Al Jazeera, but it's just all bad news. And it's not even, like, everything, just because it's a very credible news source, there's no, like, real opinion thrown in. It's just like, here's what happened, here's the facts. And if it's worth reporting to them, it's actually, like, significant and has numbers to back it up. And just, the world is a fucking depressing-ass place.
God, thank God we have Dubai so we can just get away from all of that.
Right?
Jesus.
So thank God. Yeah, seriously, let's go to the sparkling city. And did you say that some fuckface is like, this is another thing I read, some fuckface wants to put, like, a big sheet over the Burj Khalifa.
Explain why?
I don't know. It's an art project, and it's being proposed that they hang, like, this, like, big-ass sheet around the building, which it would be, like, kind of a reflective fabric, and it would mirror the city around it back onto itself. No, it would just, like, mirror the city around. I don't know. I thought it was pretty stupid just in concept, but then, like, thinking about the actual...
it's like, look at yourselves, people. Have you seen what you've done?
Yeah,
what the fuck?
But at the same time, it's also like they're proposing this shit and they're asking me to believe it, but how would they do that engineering-wise? Like, you couldn't... The first wind that catches a little fabric sheet is just going to rip that shit off. And, well, for one... Dubai's a windy-ass fucking place because there's no trees or hills or anything. It's just sand and wind and water.
Yeah.
Ocean water.
Yeah.
Not drinkable. And oil underneath.
Desalinate.
Yeah, whatever. And so there's tons of wind. You're never going to put that thing up for any amount of time. The other thing is the stresses on that material. What fucking material are they making this out of? Like
Steve,
some space age goddamn material?
You're talking my job, right?
I'm talking... This is an architect's job. This is a designer's job. I'm critiquing their design.
Well, I mean, you're on the right track. And the stresses that fabric would encounter, and if it
just
is...
the building itself is going to have an updraft and wind all around it all the time, 100% of the time. There will... I guess... I don't know.
Well, you're going to be increasing the energy because, energy is a force times a distance.
Right.
So, the greater that fabric is, and then there's winds coming, is going to be playing a force over a distance. It's going to be pulling on the tower. So,
yeah, exactly. Well, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's going to be pulling on it, and
there's going to be greater loads.
Just however that giant sail is attached is going to rip off. You could make the whole thing out of, like, steel somehow. If it had no weight and it was all the strength of steel, like fiber.
Steve, hello? Have you
Sure. Okay. So they've made carbon nanotubes, so many that they've just decided to make a giant sheet out of it. And then even if it had no weight of its own, just the area of that sail to attach it back to something would be tremendous.
What do you do with it afterwards,
What do you... That's exactly the question that everybody in Dubai should be asking about their own city. What are we going to do with this afterwards? Nobody's here. There's nobody here.
There's like 10
Just keep building. Just keep going. Don't look back. It's just like this, like, maybe they're going to just, like, maybe it's going to be like Gift to the World Day, where they're going to be like, look, we have built enough space for the entire surplus population of the world. Just put them there.
Wow.
Just put them there. They're in Detroit.
Get them out of fucking just Mumbai. Get them out of Sao Paulo. Bring them from Africa.
Anybody who's addicted to crack and on the streets, it's going to be like the new melting pot, except it's like the boiling. It's like the boiling over pot, like that sticky shit that forms like underneath like the edges of pots and pans.
Yeah.
When people don't like scrub them real good in between use. Yeah, all that shit.
Just grind.
Yeah. Scrape it all off. Drop it into Dubai. They're all gonna have like brand new shit to live in, and be like, hey, get your act together, or don't.
We don't care.
Or don't. Fucking, it's a desert all around you. You're not escaping.
This sounds like mass extermination, Steve.
No, because...
Let's get everyone on planes to
we're going to concentrate all these undesirable people into one place. I don't see what's wrong with that. They're not free to leave, but they don't have to...
if they work enough, they could leave.
Yeah, I mean,
like we'll do that on the thing. Work set you free.
Yeah, because there's not going to be a lot of jobs because most of these people are they're already unemployed and everything like that. I'm just thinking though, they could go there, they could try to start over. It'd be like I don't know.
It's like when you pull an animal out of its natural habitat and put them into a totally new one.
Yeah, and they're like super fierce and like, I'm scared.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I'm angry, but I'm scared. Do that with all of them.
Steve was a go-getter, middle-class man, and that all changed when he got deported to Dubai.
Oh, shit. Man, I would... The first thing I would do, I would just... They'd be like, hey, welcome, and I'd just immediately just start attacking. I would fight everybody. It's a utopia, like, of all these, like homeless people and like underprivileged people from all over the world. It's just like this beautiful utopia that they've created, and then we just throw the white devil into it, and I'm just like, just rampaging, just killing immediately. Just they're like, it's okay, brother, welcome. Everybody's homeless here, so everybody has a home because we have a home in each other's hearts, some bullshit like that. And then I'm just killing. I've got like a cricket bat, and I'm just murdering left and right. Yeah. Blood just starts running down the streets, mixing with the sand, creating some sort of horrible adobe.
isn't from Germany. He's not a descendant from Hitler.
No.
Or Stalin.
Nope.
Mussolini?
Nope.
But
I can trace my roots back to that.
Robert
Anyway.
Anyhow. Well, let's plan a vacation to Dubai here pretty soon, Steve.
Okay. You first.
Okay. It'll take me a while.
I think that's where we should end this one. It's getting long.